the epidemic actually initially hit the agricultural belt in the eastern part of the country. And because it hit the agricultural belt, one entire agricultural season was compromised because farmers got affected and there was a bit of food crisis, and also cross-border trade with Guinea was quite affected. Now progressively the epidemic is moving westwards into the more dense urban areas. First area that was affected and was recently a hotspot or continues to be a hotspot are the main mining districts. However, we must be able to differentiate between the loss to the GDP as well as the actual job losses. In fact, there is a loss to the GDP, but there are more people losing jobs. More livelihoods are getting affected, and these are extremely poor people who are becoming even more difficult for them to weather the current crisis. Well, the daily life has changed completely. As I told you that there is no recreation left any longer. People just go to the workplace and then go back home. Children don't go to school, young people don't go to colleges, there are no restaurants left any longer, there is a general sense of panic everywhere. And as it is, when inflation increases and people's incomes are still small and getting smaller, then you can't afford anything else. For example, people who are working in small hotels and restaurants which have now closed down. People who are basically the motorcycle taxi riders, whose incomes have reduced because the government has put a ban on their driving after 7 o'clock in the evening. So there are these many restrictions, and these restrictions are actually beginning to hurt the economy and the people. They are affecting in many ways. First of all, food prices and prices of non-food day-to-day items have gone up. There is heavy inflation right now. So on the one hand, your income has reduced. On the other hand, there is major inflation. Secondly, basic services have been very badly affected. The government, because it has imposed a state of emergency, has actually closed down all schools. So children have to be at home for an entire year or longer. Health sector, even basic health services no longer exist because people are scared to go to health centers, and even health centers are scared to keep them open, keep the centers open, because they feel that somebody with Ebola might walk in and compromise their safety. As you know, that this country has lost a large number of doctors and nurses to Ebola. So even the private sector doctors, they have all shut down. So this has a ripple effect. People with even treatable elements like a heart attack or a malaria or dysentery, they are no longer getting any treatment. Pregnant women, there is more than a 50% reduction in medically assisted. On average, there are 6 women dying of childbirth every single day, which is very, very high and unacceptable. The other crisis we know enough. Security issue, I can have more guards, I can have better surveillance. This one is the complete unseen, invisible enemy. We don't know enough. I could be sitting on this chair and somebody else comes and sits on this chair and has Ebola, it could infect me.